President William Samoei Ruto is on a bragging spree, and he's got this penchant of reading a riot act to Kenyan parents in the wake of murder of our children, youths and Gen Zs who go to the street in accordance with our constitution. When you listen to the president of late, the president has continued to tell the Kenyan parents that he's got a problem with them because the children of today are not nurtured well, and he's saying that the Kenyan parents have neglected their fundamental duty to inculcate discipline in their children. That is number one. And he defends and justifies the reason why our children should be killed. In fact, he adds salt to injury by saying that they should be shot at the foot so that they can live, going to the hospital and taken to court, as if someone who has been shot on the foot will not bleed to death. Not only that, the president blows his own trumpet and is saying he is ready to meet his opponents and competitors in 2027 because he believes he's done enough. And I don't know who tells him that he's done enough. I want you to listen to President William Ruto, trying to enumerate what he has done. But there is one thing that he deliberately fails to mention, or maybe he just forgets because he does not care about it. Kindly listen to President William Samoei Ruto telling his opponents that he's got a plan and he will meet them in 2027.
Mimi niko kwa tayari kwa mtihani. Hiyo mtihani tutafanya 2027. Mimi niko tayari kwa hiyo mtihani. Yes. Mutakuja mniulize. Mambo ya uchumi mtajibu. Mambo ya kilimo mtajionea wenyewe. Mambo ya SHA mtaniambia. Mambo ya affordable housing na mambo ya markets na mambo ya hostels na mambo ya ajira ya vijana mtaniambia. Na mtaniambia nani yako na mpango bora kuliko hii mimi niko naye. Hawa majamaa wengine hawawezi kuwaambia mambo ya uchumi because they don't know and they don't have a plan. Hawawezi kuwaambia mambo ya masomo ya watoto wetu because they don't know and they don't have a plan. Hawawezi kuwaambia chochote, watawaambia Ruto must go. One time. Kasongo. Sasa.
Now, our president talks about economy, health, good education to our children and all that. But there is something that he ignores. The respect to human rights, the fundamental and inherent basic rights to the people of Kenya. One of them being the right to life. And anytime the president is talking, you realize that he can mention everything. But we also need a president who will obey and respect the constitution and will obey and respect our rights. Now, as he goes on lecturing the Kenyan parents, some parents and leaders have been listening to him. And one of them is the former Mkuruweni member of parliament, Kabando wa Kabando, who is saying enough is enough. We cannot let this president lecture us as if he is impeccable. And is questioning the conduct of Ruto's children, especially the one that owns a fleet of matatus in the country. Then Kabando wa Kabando also says that this man and his cohort have looted this country to the drain. Listen to Kabando wa Kabando, who was obviously very furious about the president's conduct.
More university, you saw what happened a few years ago. People rose in their villages in Eldoret, including the governor of, who was in Gishu, the governor of Nandi. There was even the governor from Egeo Marakwet, and all the members of parliament, the MCAs and the villagers around there. They went and chased Professor Ayiro, who is now doing a great job at Daystar University, and they insisted to have their own. Today, Moi University is bankrupt, and over 1,000 acres of Moi University has been grabbed by a close associate of William Ruto. It's in the public knowledge, and parliament is muzzled, is castrated, it cannot oversight to ask those questions. Now, Ruto is telling us that we have brought up our children badly. I met the son of Onyonika many years ago. Every time we speak, I always ask, him how my son is doing. And I can tell you, we try to do our best. William Ruto is the generation.
Yeah, we need to wind up. Yeah.
Okay, we are winding up. But you know, these people get uninhibited time. So let me finish up in the next 1 minute only. Because Ruto becomes like a very sensitive touch, the anatomy of corruption and impunity. So let me say this. So William Ruto, you are telling our children are terrorists. You are saying that they have been brought up in bad parentage, and therefore they are bad. You called them terrorists last year, you are calling them Shetani this time. Look at yourself. Who is driving in Nairobi with impunity, without licensing, going on the wrong side of the road?
Your son.
Not really.
Ruto is a thief.
I'm just saying.
And he's patronizing murder of children.
All right.
It is not right.
And his best friends are thieves
right.
and looters.
This
Thank
is
you.
not right.
Okay.
Ruto is a mistake and is a curse.
Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Right. Yeah.
Let's
Don't
not
correct me.
No. Let's. Look, I think we should not just be very reductive also in our pronouncement.
Ruto is a merchant of impunity.
Yeah, because we don't want to have a podium of name calling.
Correct.
No.
A
A thief is a thief.
A
A thief. A mandarin is a mandarin.
Could we? Okay. Let me.
If we are defending Ruto here,
We're not defending Ruto.
then let me say what I can say as a Kabando.
All right.
That is my volume.
You've given him enough time.
I have always told you that respect is earned. For you to respect someone, they must have done something to earn that respect. The way people like Kabando are talking simply tells you that William Ruto has not convinced them and persuaded them that he deserves respect. And many parents feel that President William Ruto cannot lecture them on how to nurture their children, and teach them discipline, when he himself is not a paragon of virtue. Do you think, for example, as a parent, if you are watching this channel, can William Ruto be a mentor? Are you proud of William Ruto? Can you tell your children to grow up and be like William Samoei Ruto? Let's say you are teaching manners, honesty, and integrity, and you want to tell them, maybe you're a lecturer, you're in some lecture room, and you want to give a good example or an example of a good leader. Between, for example, David Maraga and William Samoei Ruto, who would you mention, who would you quote as an epitome of virtue to our children? Obviously, you will go with Maraga because action always speaks louder than words. But for William Ruto, both actions and words are at par. He says shoot, and he does the same. His policemen shoot. When you talk about good leadership and integrity, Kabando mentions of Ruto allies who decided to practice tribalism. They chased someone who was not, one of their tribes in a public institution. Then that is how hell broke loose, because that public institution has fallen. And then it is being looted, because if the land that belongs to the institution is being subdivided by individuals, then, so Kabando is really saying or telling us that Ruto has got no moral rights to start lecturing us on discipline and virtue, because as a public figure, he needs to be a man who can be mentioned when virtues are being mentioned. Sometimes I wonder what the world looks at. The other day, I saw some post that Itumbi was bragging that Ruto has been mentioned as the best president in Africa. Best on what? What are the criteria that they were using? When it comes to killing our children, parents really feel very bad and they are not taking it easily. I want you to listen to Mutula Kilonzo Jr. He was attending a burial, ceremony. Is it really a ceremony? Some burial of youths who had been shot by Kasongo policemen, and he said, it cannot happen. We will not allow it. Listen to Mutula Kilonzo Jr.
Which country shoots people? Cattle rustlers in Pokot are living like kings. Nobody is shooting at them. Yet unasema huyo kijana, piga huo risasi, peleka huyo jela, huo. Wacha. We can't live like that. Na hatuwezi kubali. No. Na wasikie. It's not possible. No, it's not possible. Yes. Wataimbiwa one time mpaka wasikie. I'm telling you. Parents can't live in fear. We can't bury young people left, right and center. Na wale wa Makueni wawili, mmoja wa Mtito Wandei is an orphan, akukua shamba ya kumzika. The uncle akasema huyo pelekeni cemetery.
If you listen to parents, I listened to the mother of Njoki, the little, I think it's called Njoki, the little 12-year-old girl that was shot while sitting with her mom at home. She doesn't know anything. She didn't have anything to do with the demonstrations. And the mother was saying, this is a dream shattered. And she was saying that the bullet that shot her daughter did not pull itself. Someone in his right senses pulled the trigger and killed a 12-year-old girl. When you look at the lady that died, a daughter of a chief is part of the, in fact, if you look at the chiefs and assistant chiefs and DOs and all that, they work under the office of the president. So a daughter of a chief is detained in police custody and killed there. And I was reading that the government pathologist conducted some autopsy that the result did not come out in Kenya. It reminds me of the story about Ojwang when they were telling us that he hit himself on the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, what would be assessment to William Samoei Ruto, even as he goes on telling us about what he's going to do? You know, respect to human life is paramount and it comes first. And I will tell you why. Why do you brag of, for example, looking at SHA? Let's assume that SHA was working. Let's just assume. Or let's talk of the funding model to our youth, because both of them I understand are not working. SHA I understand is not working. The new university funding model is not working. But let's assume they were working. They were functional. What would I do with a medical cover? Because a medical cover is supposed to prepare me for the natural diseases. But what would I be doing with the medical cover? A good medical cover when my children can be shot dead and die instantly. Why would I value education when the same child goes up to university like Albert Ojwang and then his life cut short by a cruel hand of a police officer? You know, there can never be any good thing in this country or in a country that is better than human rights. You'd rather live with a president that can tolerate criticism than the one who will pretend that he's giving you everything, yet he can kill you anytime. Without life, all these things, because look at it. A good education is geared towards a better life in future. A good insurance cover is geared towards a better life in future. You could talk of agriculture, it's meant for a better life in future. But why would you embrace all this if you know very well, or when you know that your life can be cut short anytime? And that's why I'm telling you that anytime the president talks, he ignores deliberately talking about that. And that is why leaders are coming up and telling him, you give us a break. After all, you're not the best of the best. After all, even your children are not behaving in a manner that we would equate to a parent who gives, discipline to the child. And they're saying even you yourself, in terms of corruption, murder, all the illegalities, your name is mentioned. And so you should not behave and speak as if you are the best, yet when you are scrutinized, you fall short of, the standards that people are looking for in a nation. Do you agree with Kabando? Do you agree with Mutula Kilonzo Jr.? Because as people head to 2027, I think there's a big surprise waiting for William Samoei Ruto. Because PR will never work. The nation will review everything that he has done. With the advent of this technology, that is when the youth of this nation will tell him about Rex, about Njoki, about who, and people will go with a lot of sadness and bitterness and tears in the ballot. People will be reminding themselves, amka mapema kesho. We are voting in respect of Rex. We are voting in respect of Albert Ojwang. We are voting in respect to the people who were killed during Gen Z protests. And he will realize that murdering our children overrides all the good things that he thinks or he feels that he has done. That's what I'm telling you, that bragging, blowing one's trumpet, and telling us daring the opposition will not help. People like Sudi tell us that they will rig. And they tell us that Ruto is a two-term president. We wait and see, because I have a feeling ile kura itapigwa, hakutakuwa na mwanya ya kuiba. Those who were there in 2022, I think that is the best election that we've ever had. Ya kwamba hata kama ulikuwa unataka kuiba huwezi, because the nation is tired. We can't live in fear. Like Putula Kilonzo says, we can't live in fear.